Just checking on the sheep today. It's a really frosty morning, but they seem okay. It's a view from the back of the studio. Hi girls. It really is cold. Right, there's a good layer of ice on everything. If Oriole stays there much longer, there'll be a layer of ice on him too. So let's just go into the studio. Hey, Lottie. Oh, who else is here? Hello, Zen Zen. Hello. Hello. And here's Frankie. Hello, Frankie Frank. Here's my beautiful pushy cat. And Arthur is here somewhere. Yes, there he is. Come on, Arthur. Come and say hello. There we go. He says, is there anything for me to eat? Yes, but you've already had your breakfast. All right, to work. Quick squiz around the studio, and today we are going to be looking at sketchbooks, completed and incomplete. And I'm going to be showing you some of the sketchbooks that I've done. I was listening to Danny from the Sketchbook School this morning, and also Helen Wells, who is a great sketchbook fan. Also, the other one I like is Katie Moody, who is a full-time sketchbook artist. And I haven't started painting yet today because my hands are too cold, because although I have heating, proper heating in my studio, I've just been outside and come back in and thought, oh my goodness me, my hands are freezing. So in order to warm up my circulation a little bit, I thought I would just do a little bit of crochet, because that kind of gets the old fingers into a little bit of movement, so to speak. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing some lovely bright, what do you call them? Granny squares, seems appropriate. And I don't know what I'm going to make out of it, probably a blanket of some sort. And yeah, so I like to crochet, but I don't like anything difficult. I like things that are just, you know, really repetitive, because it kind of calls the old, calms the vagus nerve. And I think that might be what's been playing up for me recently. I've been saying I've had a permanent headache for a while, and I think it's a lot to do with too much computer use, too much looking down. I'm looking down at the moment, of course, because you have to look down if you can't crochet while you're looking at the ceiling, can you? Anyway, so I'm going to stop this in a minute because my hands are starting to warm up. This was a little pack of wool I got from Amazon. They offered 12 different colours, balls of wool. It's only cheap stuff, but I got it before Christmas because I thought I might like to just pick it up from time to time. And got all the balls in here. And I just pull one thread out and do a row. And it's kind of quick and easy. If you don't crochet, I suggest go to Jayda in Stitches. And she's, or Ophelia crochets. They're both really good. I learnt really a lot of things from Jayda. She's great. Ophelia's in England, Jayda's in Canada. They're both good. I'll put links, you know where. You all know that by now. So I'm going to stop in a second. And at the end of this video, I'm going to do something in a sketchbook in a minute. And at the end of this video, I'm going to just flick through some of the pages of some of the sketchbooks. So if you stay to the end, you might get some ideas for paintings that you might want to try. Because most of what's in my sketchbooks is easy and achievable. It must be if I did it. Come on. Yeah, so I was just going to try and get all the way around this row, maybe not. How far? I'm only halfway. Okay, I'm going to stop there and put that away and put that in the front pocket here. This is a nice project bag that Tamsin gave me for my birthday a couple of years ago. It's quite handy. Right, you can go over there, project bag. And what I thought, after a great deal of pondering, I got out all these old sketchbooks here, various different ones. The Nature Journal is by far from being full, and that I'm not going to touch today, but I will start when spring comes. I'll start putting things into there again. And I've got another one here that's also a Nature Journal. There's some nice pictures in it. But the problem with these Viviva ones, and I have to be honest, is one of the problems with these is that the paper is a little bit too absorbent. So although it's quite fun to do things which are very direct, here's some blobby birds for you. Although it's okay if you know exactly what you're going to do, but there's no way you're going to ever lift the paint out of the paper. It's another one that we did earlier in the year, Flowers of the World. That was last year. Then there's that one, and there's another Viviva, another Viviva, and another Viviva. All of those, like I say, all suffer from the same problem. So I switched after a bit to different types, and the one I'm using for a proper nature sketchbook now is a what's it called? No, this is actually full, and this is Strathmore. This is Strathmore, and I'll go through that properly at the end, perhaps, maybe not. This is the birds that we did last year, Birds 2024. It was a challenge, and I managed to do a bird a day. And that was fun. I'm quite pleased with the way that turned out. But this is the one I'm going to be working in today. And the reason why is the following. This is a Canson XL sketchbook. And it has quite heavy-duty paper. So heavy-duty that you can't really flick through it like that, which is both a good and a bad thing. I've got bigger ones of these as well. But I was just looking at this and I was thinking, as I was flicking through, that I only painted on one side. And so I thought, what I'm going to do now, rather than waste the paper, this side is smoother, but it's still perfectly okay to paint on. This side has got more texture. And I'd left the back sides because I thought there's a possibility I might want to take some of these out to do something with, but I've changed my mind about that. So what I'm going to do, you remember this? Remember this, 365 Days of Art. I'm getting through this. I am now, I'll show you the last few that I've done. There's my little doggy and a study of the tree outside. And that's then my dog, and this is an imaginary landscape. As this is sort of out the window as well with the sheep and the chickens. Skeleton of a bird, a couple of dog sketches. This was a spontaneous watercolor landscape, another tree. Then I was filling these birds in on these perches. That's a kind of leafy design thing. I haven't done that yet. This is as far as I've got. I'm up to 303 now. So I've got another 60 or so to do. And this is a great thing to start off the day with. And I do that often, or I take a break during the course of the day. When you need a break, you just do something from your 365 days book. But I thought I could do something similar here because what I've got something on every page in here. So why don't I sort of randomly choose a page and put something similar on the left-hand side? That's what I was thinking. Why don't I do that? So, oh, look, some nice hydrangeas. So I think I'll do that. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do. That's very difficult, isn't it? When you give yourself that kind of a, oh, just pick one. Why don't I start at the beginning? Okay, I'll start at the beginning. I can't do that one because that's the first one. So that is a random kind of thing. I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'll do some butterflies and some dragonflies. What do you think about that for an idea? So we're going to put some dragonflies on here. Okay, so I should get rid of all these books because they are now in the way because they are superfluous. And I shall use, what paints shall I use? I think I'll use these ones that are here. This is the usual watercolor set that I've been playing around with. I think I might be going to change a little bit soon, but I'm not sure in what way. I've got a palette here that I can mix in. And we'll see how that goes. So let's sit down and get started. So I was watching, like I said, Danny Gregory this morning in Sketchbook School, and he said one of his tips for doing sketchbooks is to do the same thing again. So, and he would say, like, okay, if you have a vase or a pot or something in front of you and you paint it once, don't just paint it once in your sketchbook, do it again and again and again and again and again. And was it him who said that? No, that wasn't him. That was Helen Wells. So choose something like a pot or whatever, or a tree, and do it again and again and again for a month, let's say, paint it every day. So you could do that, couldn't you? I think that's not a bad idea, but I'm not going to go quite that far. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I've got butterflies here, imaginary butterflies, imaginary dragonflies. So I'm going to do some on this page. So let's turn that over. No, we won't do that. Well, shall we? Shan't we? Shall we? Shan't we? Okay, let's just draw dragonflies. Let's start here. And they need eyes and some kind of a head. And they have something coming out here and something coming out here, which you could put in last if you wanted to. And then they have a body, which kind of something like that. And then they have lots of segments which go down until you get to the end, and then they have a tail. And then the wings come out here. This one's going off the paper because he is. Don't worry too much about the shape of it. So we'll do that. And then we'll do another one here. Some eyes, a head, a body. And we have this one curling around that way. And then maybe we put his wing behind that one. You probably do need to draw this somewhat. I won't put all the segments in because I end up having to rub them out. So we've got one going that way, one going that way, one going more forward, I think. Let's put him here. He needs his arms. They have 6 legs, and those are legs, but the others we don't tend to draw in, because I don't anyway, because they're sort of, they make the whole thing look a bit ugly. And they tend to have a curve. If you can remember to put the curve into the wings, it's a good thing. Okay, so that one goes down there like that. And maybe we have one going backwards. And his tail can go around this way, perhaps. or body. It's not really a tail. And I think now I'll start painting it. So I'll look at my original and see what I did there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've got a size, I think this is a 7. Is this a 7? Can't see. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to wet the wings. We'll do them one at a time, probably. Just wet the wings. And then I'm going to pick up a colour. Maybe I'll start with this blue, which is a sort of almost like cerulean or cobalt blue. This is a Michael Harding blue. And we'll just pop some of that in. And the one underneath, maybe we'll do that in, I don't know, maybe a greenish blue, something like that. And the idea here is really just to let the whole thing run. And then when it's finished running, we'll put some ink or pencil over the top of it to sharpen it all up. And let's do the body in shades of green. And the thing is, if you want it to be loose, try not to be too precise. I'm just kind of printing, really, going down like that. And then I'll come back up to the wings and just drop in a little bit of green here and there in dots. And let's do something a little bit darker for the eyes. That's supposed to be darker. Some kind of black. Okay, that'll do. Why is that wobbling like that? Don't like that. And you can, if you want, drop in drops of water, which will give you an interesting effect. The paint will run in a slightly different way, so we'll do that. We could have all of the dragonflies could be greenish, bluish, because I suppose often they are, but they're also kind of lilac-y too sometimes, aren't they? So we'll do the next one. Let me see. I know I've got some mauve here somewhere. Yeah, okay, that's kind of mauvish sort of colour, so we'll pop that in. And I'm not worried about the shape of the wings because I keep wanting to call them petals. I can improve or change the shape when I come in with the pen later. So I'll just drop in some extra dots and things here and there. And let's do, if we added some green to this colour, we're going to get a dark greenish grey colour. And so we'll just print in the segments. Maybe we'll put a bit of green in to the wings. So there's that. And turn it around so it's upside down. I was talking about Helen Wells, wasn't I, and her art. If you haven't discovered Helen, I recommend you go to her channel. And also she's got a book out, which Kay from Artbooknook is going to be reviewing. I think it might go up today. and it's all about sketchbooking and so on and so forth. Helen is she's a British artist, and she took up painting. Well, she used to paint as a child, like so many of us used to paint as a child, and then kind of got sidetracked into the real world, as we used to call it, and only picked it up again later when she suddenly had an epiphany and realised that she wasn't doing the right thing with her life. How many of us does that happen to in the course of time? And anyway, so she's a wonderfully enthusiastic and gifted painter, and I heartily recommend that you go and take a look at her work. I love it. And she's so enthusiastic about everything. It's just great. And her book, I haven't seen the book yet, but I'm looking forward to visiting Kay's review. Oh God, there goes the AC again. I'm going to put some more purple in here. And we'll let that dry, and then we've still got one more to do, this one here. And it doesn't matter if they kind of blur into one another a bit. I don't think, anyway. If nothing else, the fact that they're blurring into each other gives you a kind of sense of movement. And that's what these creatures are always doing, isn't it? They're frantically flying around like crazy things until they very quickly die. A bit like humans, really. Okay, so this one's going to be green as well, greeny blue, a little bit darker. I think that one I'm using there is indigo. So we'll do indigo for the head and the... Yeah. Okay, so now what we need to do, having done that, I'll just pick that up so you can see a bit better. I'm going to let that dry and then come back with some other medium to add to the whole thing. So I'll probably whack the hairdryer on. Okay, so I've rubbed out most of the pencil marks. I'll take out those. Those are really just a kind of guide. And I've got here now the outlines or the colouring for my dragonflies. And next thing I'm going to do is use some pens. And I've got an Edding 1800. That's just a plain fine liner, black. I've got my Pentel Slicky, which is a fine gold pen, which is really nice. This is a Pentel Silver, hybrid gel, which I may or may not use. I don't know if I'm going to want to put silver on there or not. This is a Tombow Fidenosuke thick and thin brush pen, which is nice. I'm sure you've heard me mention that before. And this is a Winsor & Newton fine liner in sepia, which I want to buy some more because I think I left the other two, which are thicker, in Egypt. And but they're so expensive over here. I don't know why. Now, I have to say right now that I've had a small frustration has just occurred here. All the last 10 minutes, I have been drawing in the lines on these dragonflies, and I suddenly realised as I got towards the end, I checked to see what was going on my phone, which is what I use to do my filming with, and some idiot French spam sales person had attempted to call me at 11:20, just as I was saying into my camera, I'm hungry, and had cut me off because although I've got it set up to do not disturb, something's gone wrong with our Apple phones just recently. I think they want me to buy a new one. It won't permit do not disturb on my phone. So very frustrating, and I'm very sorry about that. So anyway, I had made quite a bit of progress with this, and so more or less at the end now. So I'm just finishing off using, this is the Edding fine liner. I also was using this Fudenosuke thick and thin pen to give me thick and thin lines, which is nice. And so I'm sorry you missed a chunk, but I do have another 10 or so dragonfly paintings that you can check out. I think we've got a playlist actually of dragonflies, so you could take a look at some of those if you like. I've got their legs in all of them, and I was just saying when I realized that I had gone dark that I was going to do some spatter. So that I'm going to do now. I'm going to find a brush. I like to use a toothbrush to do spatter, and I will pick up some pale blue, what's left here of my paint, and let's see what happens. Oh, that one's not a very good, not a particularly good toothbrush. Let me see if I can get it working a bit better. It's too much water. Not enough paint. Let me grab the paint a bit more. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to just spatter a little bit in the background, quite light. I'm still tossing up with the idea of putting leaves or something like that in the background, but I think I probably won't on this particular occasion. And another kind of spatter that you can do involves bigger droplets, like that. So we'll put a few of those in, especially down here where there's quite a large gap there. So we'll do that. And you could, if you wanted to, just kind of indicate a few bits of what do you call it? Plant material or something like that. Just putting in some stems of some sort down here, very lightly. And maybe a few more dots here and there. So there we are. That's that done. Oh, I did, when the bit that was cut off, I did show you the possibility for adding a little bit more paint into the wings, just in various places, just fairly random, sort of just here and there. I know this one's purple, but it doesn't mind having a bit of blue added. So there we are, something like that. And I'm going to put that away over there to dry. And we'll have a quick look at one of my sketchbooks, whichever one comes to hand first. And let's see what we've got in here. In this one, this is Canson XL. And this was from last year. I started this one around about, I didn't use gold in the dragonfly painting. So that was a nice loose little sketch. These were preparatory to doing some sea glass. We've got a video with sea glass, and these were all the greens and the colours that I thought would be appropriate to do sea glass. And that was one of my tryouts. That's the point in my life. A sketchbook is where you do preparatory ideas, and then you take those ideas and you build them up into a painting. That's not necessarily what people are doing when they call themselves sketchbook artists. They tend to do completed pieces of works. This is, that was copied from something that I found online. And then I developed it into that, going from these circles in the background and putting birds on top. So that would make a nice video, wouldn't it? This one is kind of reeds with birds over the water. It's kind of semi-abstract, I would call that, really. Not abstract completely, but semi-abstract. That was a copy of somebody else's painting too. It must be, mustn't it? Because this is a Canadian or North American landscape. We don't have barns and silos like that around here. So I was just playing there, pretending that I was Canadian. And there it is in the summer as well as the winter. This is one of my favourites. I'm looking forward to the pansies coming out again soon, which they no doubt will. And this is one I hadn't really quite finished. This I think it could probably do with a few dots and things in the middle. But I have a particularly fond memory, or lots of enjoyment has been had from painting pansies. Another flower, another flower, another flower. A tree. This is the tree that I look out my window every day. And more pansies. These are quite sweet, aren't they? And more. They'll be coming out soon. It won't be long, another month or two. And that's a wild rose. And another wild rose. The same idea, you see. This is the thing. You've got a picture of some wild roses, and you do it like this, and then you do it again, and it comes out completely differently. It's a completely different thing. A little doggy. Some blobby birds. Some realistic swallows. You'll see the swallows again soon. They'll be coming back before long. And an abstract leaf design. Some loose palms. Oh, here we are. Here's some more dragonflies. There. So that was then, and this is now. I don't think there's much difference. These ones are bluer. Yeah, it's basically the same. I hadn't even realised that was in that book. I hadn't looked at it at all. I used brown for the bodies rather than the blue and the green. So, and oh, look, yes, this is taking the idea a bit further and going a bit looser and using much stronger colour and, a more dramatic sort of, almost identical design. Blobby bird. Another blobby bird, paint a bird a day. That was when we were doing the Paint a Bird a Day project a couple of years ago now. And coming to the end now, I managed to fill a sketchbook. How about that? So any of these ideas, I was going to make that one into a video, but I thought these looked like ice lollies. And so it was, no, I don't think so. So there we are. So that's a quick look through last year's sketchbook from Excel. I need to get another one like that. And but I am going to do what I said. I'm going to go through this, and you'll see me doing more of these as we go along. And I'll try not to have the telephone interfere. We have to do something about that. And maybe I'll redo that one next time, or that one that I've already done it twice, you see. I do live up to my own suggestion of doing these things more than once. Some interesting things in here. Valentine's Day idea. Snowdrops. I was going to do snowdrops this week, but I noticed somebody else had done snowdrops, so I thought I'd better leave it till next week. It's a bit early for snowdrops, although snowdrops are January's flower, aren't they? Right, so I'm going to let you go now, and my time is running out. So watch out for the next video. Today is Tuesday, so the next one will be on Thursday. And I'll see you again soon. Everybody, take care and keep safe. Bye for now, everybody. Bye-bye.